for a trending story sponsored by Roomba i7 Plus, only from iRobot. Jason Garrett's ability to coach the Cowboys seems to always be in question, especially now that the team is in the midst of a 3-game losing streak. Critics are specifically pointing to Garrett's 2-3 postseason record and his .368 win percentage against teams with a winning record. When asked about Garrett's job being in jeopardy, Jerry Jones had this to say.
I have felt that we've got a lot invested in Jason Garrett. He's evolved into what I think is a top coach. He would be a very sought-after coach if he were out here in the open market. So there's a lot of pluses there. So it would be unfair to our fans for me to have any indication about what I may think the future is as far as a head coach. Everybody's aware that we're on the last year of his agreement, but that really just means that we can all sit down and take a look at things at the end of the year.
Shannon, do you agree that Garrett would be a hot commodity on the open market?
He'd be a hot something, all right. I don't know about no commodities. I don't know about commodities, Skip. Look, no, I don't believe that. Do I believe he would get calls? Sure. I mean, most coaches, after they get fired, Skip, most of them get calls because they've been a coach before, so they know what it's like. They've had to plan the operations, where we're going to stay, when we're going to leave, all that travel. So, Skip, so they know, they're very familiar with that. And so that's always a plus. But a hot commodity, Sean Payton would be a hot commodity. What did they do, Skip? What did Miss Benson do? Lock his butt up for 5 more years. Hot commodities, you don't let them go into the last year of their contract. You give them extensions. Jerry, you've already told the fans what you thought. Because if you thought he was a hot commodity, you'd have locked him up. You don't let him get to the last year of that contract, Skip Bayless. I know Jerry's trying to fool everybody. Yeah, I know he's in the last year of the contract, and all that means is that we can sit down at the end of the season and calm our heads. I get all that, Jerry.
You sound like somebody from Georgia doing Arkansas. That's what it sounds like to me.
That southern draw. Skip, Jerry, we all know what that means. You know what that means too, Skip Bayless. I do not believe Jason Garrett would be a hot commodity. It might be a situation, Skip, if he were not a head coach, his best chances of staying in the NFL would be as an offensive coordinator.
And that's the job he should have, but not in Dallas. My answer to this question is, I would love to find out just how hot a commodity he would be on the open market.
Love to see.
Yes, I would just love to see. I'd
Just
sit
try it
back
out.
and just say, be my guest. Line up.
Long as he's not a commodity in Dallas, that's
what I mean. That's what I say. I need to find out. So, Jerry, please show us how hot a commodity he would be on the open market. I wouldn't mind if it happened during the bye week, but that is not going to happen, as you have dug in and said there's no way.
No.
And I would agree, no way. Here's my issue with Jason Garrett. As you well know, the NFL's fine line between winning and losing is the finest line in all of sports. It is the most competitive league we have, certainly in this country. And you can fall back on the wrong side of that fine line like that. The Rams know the feeling. The Chargers know the feeling. I can go, the Kansas City Chiefs know the feeling. All of a sudden, you think you're it. And then this goes wrong, and that goes wrong, and that doesn't click, and that doesn't click, and you don't make that play, or that play, or that play. And all of a sudden, you're 3-3, and you've lost 3 in a row. Jason Garrett can't fix that. That's not in his DNA. He's a really nice guy who has no motivational skills that I can see with my naked eye, and I know Jason pretty well. That's just not what he was born to do, is motivate a team.
Right.
I think he can be a pretty good coordinator if you give him the whole show and let him run it. And back in the day, I think he was pretty good. Now my fear is they found a better, more creative coordinator in Kellen Moore, and I think slowly but surely Jason Garrett is re-seizing control of the offense from Kellen Moore.
But why would he do that, Skip? I mean, if the offense...
Threat.
But
I think Kellen Moore became a huge threat to him through the first 3 games.
You think Jerry Jones would fire Jason Garrett and give Kellen Moore the head job?
Nope, absolutely not. I'm not saying that, although Kellen Moore did come from head coach. You know,
his dad was a coach in high school.
Still, no, he's 30-something years of age. I mean, no, that's not happening. I'm just talking about some guys were born to coordinate, and I think Jason's a much better coordinator than he is the leader of a football team. So he can't fix what or cure what ails the Dallas Cowboys because he's not cut out to do that. He's not a fixer. There's no Jimmy Johnson in him, even though Jimmy loves Jason Garrett because he coached him.
Well, Skip, it's kind of hard to fix something when you're not allowed to problem solve. I mean, when you're handicapped, you don't get to pick the players, you don't get to set the final 53. All Jason gets to do is stand on the sideline and throw the challenge flag. What else does he get to do? Jerry determines when you. Thank you.
It's hard. That is a hard position to play.
So Skip, when you don't get an opportunity to do anything other than clap and throw the challenge flag, what can you do?
I think he's not capable of doing. Look, right now they need some tweak. They need some dramatic little.
Well,
change.
let Jerry do it.
Okay.
He the one to address the team. He always talking to the media before Jason Garrett can get out there. He addressed the team afterwards. So why don't Jerry fix it? The problem that I have is that Jason Garrett never gets any of the credit when they win, but he gets all the blame when they lose.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Jerry's like, I fixed, I got all these guys done, and I made sure everybody have the best. Okay, it's Jerry. But the moment they lose, it's not all on Jason Garrett. Oh, you ain't mentioned Jason Garrett when you got these guys signed. All you talked about was you and Steven. No. Take some of that blame. You don't want to give him any of the credit? Take some of that blame.
Okay, but what keeps happening to Jason Garrett? He keeps going along for a great ride every other year because back in 2014, that offense just took off.
Yeah.
And they obviously had the league-leading rusher that year.
Right.
And Romo had his best year, and Dez was at his peak.
Yep.
And they won the division
Right.
2014. And then 2016, Dak Prescott just falls out of heaven into their lap.
Well, 2015 might have been a good year, Skip, but Romo got hurt the second game, that collarbone.
Okay.
For the third time, crack.
Okay.
And then Dak fell out of the sky.
Yeah. Okay, here they go again. They win the division.
And then Zeke got suspended in 17.
Okay, and then boom. And then 18, what happens?
Yeah.
Jerry did go and get Amari Cooper right on time, about this time a year ago, and boom, it was a couple more weeks.
yeah, a
But
couple
then it
weeks
just
after.
took off.
Right.
Jason didn't do any of that. He just keeps doing this.
Right.
Way to go.
So if that's all he's doing, he doesn't get an opportunity to say, okay, Jerry, I think we need this. Because keep your mouth closed, I'm going to do this. He doesn't get an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to travel or we're staying here. He doesn't get to do that. So how does he get blamed? If he doesn't get an opportunity to do it, Skip, if I don't get an opportunity to cook anything, I don't get the opportunity to say when the restaurant opens.
It's hard to blame someone who does little to nothing.
Yes.
Okay, but this is the week when you're reeling, which they are,
Yeah.
and your arch division rival, the team you have to beat in this division, is coming to your house.
Yes.
And you are in danger of getting embarrassed again on a big stage because this is Sunday night football.
Right.
You need to do something to restart the team, to jumpstart the team. A big lineup change, something. I don't know what it is. Change your schedule.
Skip.
You do something different where they go into the locker room on Sunday night thinking, you know what?
I hear that.
We got this.
Honestly, I want your honest opinion. You know Jerry. You wrote books about Jerry. You covered the Cowboys. Do you think Jason Garrett can change the schedule without telling Jerry?
No.
Do you think he can make a lineup change without telling Jerry?
No, but I think he could do it if he could think of it. I just don't think he's creative that way. Again, Jerry's not going to veto those moves. He'd say, okay, let's roll with that.
I bet you Jerry. Now, I don't think that's a good move.
See, this is where Jimmy Johnson would throw a tantrum fit, like just go crazy after maybe during practice, somebody would screw up and he would just go crazy and send him home. I don't know what it would be. And it would just electrify the whole football team and they would be refocused.
And Jimmy had what? What did Jimmy have? Control. What Jason has is
sort of like maybe not ultimate, but
he had 80% control. Granted, obviously Jerry have to sign all the checks, so we get that.
Okay.
But Jason has nothing. Jason only have 1% control.
Just trust me on this. They are doing exactly this week what they did last week and the week before and the week before. Exactly the same. There's no shakeup. There's nothing new. There's no detonation from the head coach. Nope. It's just business as usual.
Well,
Stay the course.
I'm sure Jerry will think of something.
Think so?
Yeah, Jerry think of something.
I see your eyes moving there.
Yeah,
this is as big as it gets on Sunday for you guys, Skip. And now you have me worried. If they're not making any changes. And clearly, I know how you feel.
Somebody's going to lose his voice on Sunday night.
Okay, interesting you bring up Wagatum. So I don't know how he's going to do, but then your other guy, my homeboy, he may have been taken over by Russell Wilson. The way he's been playing. We'll talk about these two next.